Business Takeout presents The Healthy Entrepreneur with Maxine Choy.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. My name is Maxine Choy. I'm your host. I am a health and nutrition coach, and I help women to take charge of their lives and live a more healthy lifestyle. And I help them by helping them to be consistent, mindful, and just follow a habit of healthy living. I have a wonderful guest, Julie D Harbour of Stylish Paradox. Hi, Julie. Welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Hi, I'm so welcome. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me today.
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, I just had to have you on here, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there was a time, or just recently, when the new year came on, I was thinking to myself, in the realm of health and well-being and health and wellness, there is
Mm-hmm.
so many aspects to it. With your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your financial, your everything, your
Mm-hmm.
environment. But in the spiritual realm, there's faith and there's grace and there's like belief, and then there's like that hope and all that we really need, right? All the motivation that's out there, that we get, it has to come from faith, and it's like God. And I never really had that in my show. And
Mm-hmm.
what I do have, my next guest, next week, is about that. We are going to be talking about faith, but you came right in time, right in
Aw.
time, right on time. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to get you in here because I want to speak to you. And I'm sure that when people watch this show, they're going to understand, and they're going to come back. They're going to come out of this show with a different mindset, right? And it'll be because of you, and I truly believe that. So,
Oh, thanks, Maxine.
absolutely. This show is brought to you by Business Takeout, and Business Takeout is a nonprofit social enterprise, and their mission is to increase Black wealth and empower Black entrepreneurs. If you are an entrepreneur watching this show, and even if you're not, we encourage you to follow Business Takeout. Go on their website, visit them. The banner will come up real soon. Visit Business Takeout. You will find a wealth of information there, and also resources and different things that they can offer you, whether it's amplifying your business, social media, website management, all the things that Business Takeout does, as well as this podcast. So I want to thank Business Takeout for bringing this on here and having me be a part of this community of helping entrepreneurs in the health and well-being industry. So thank you. If you're watching the show, please like and share it. We want to spread the news. We want to let everybody know about this community of entrepreneurs who are helping each other to build and grow and sustain. So I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
um, but let's talk about Julie. So Julie, what I did was I wrote down my questions, and they're all over the place. So please bear with me. Um,
Oh
why I
gosh.
have you here? I know.
Okay.
So the reason why I have you on the show is because I've been following you on social media, and you have a wonderful page. You're fashionable, you're very positive, and you've got this attitude of just like loving life and just loving life and loving fashion and having faith in God and encouraging women in their 50s to just like live and just be free. And you live in California as well, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
and yeah, I know. And then I saw you come on live one day, and I noticed that your face was a little bit different, and I thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's going to talk about the dentist appointment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. And
I
then
wish
you
it
started talking about
was.
some, yes,
Yeah.
and then you started talking about something else. So you went for an angiogram,
Mm-hmm.
and because you weren't sure if you had, the doctors weren't sure if you had an aneurysm or a tumor,
Mm-hmm.
and that angiogram caused a stroke
Yeah, it
and
did.
partial face paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like, so what made you go to the doctor? What happened? Tell us the story.
So I've basically had issues with sinusitis for me since I was in my 30s, mid 30s. And so for people who have issues with their sinuses, many times what accompanies sinuses are sinus infections and headaches. And so here recently, my husband and I recently relocated to a city just outside of Los Angeles, about 50 minutes away. And it's dry, it's desert, even more drier than LA. And I was having these headaches. And so the headaches felt a little bit different. Imagine having headaches for 20 years and all of a sudden they start feeling different. But what made it even worse is I started to feel this tingling on my left side,
Mm.
just, and it happened like on a Friday. And I remember talking to my boss about it. And I'm like, something is weird here. And so the following 2 days passed. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to ER because this is different. And my
Mm.
body is telling me it's different. So I went to ER. And when I went to ER, they were like, you need to go to another hospital. We think this is a TIA, which is like a mini stroke. And I'm like, I'm driving. And they didn't want me to drive. I said, well, I'll just sign the
Right.
paper. I'll drive over there. So when I went over there, they gave me an MRI. They gave me the MRI. The guy was like, you're probably fine. Within an hour, somebody will just come and ask you to be released. And I sat on the end of my chair, Maxine. I was waiting for this doctor to come back so I could get out of there. Because I was
Right.
like, nothing's wrong. And he didn't come back. And so when they came, they were like, you need an MRI and an
Hmm.
EKG. And then there were more MRIs. And then hours later, they told me I needed to be admitted.
Really?
Yeah.
For what
Because,
reason? Like because of that?
because when they did the MRI, they found a growth. And they didn't know whether it was what they called a pseudo aneurysm because it was very
Mm-hmm.
vascular with lots of blood vessels, or if it was a lesion. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where the angiogram came in. And so, when someone tells you that that an angiogram causes very little side effects, that there are not many people have complications, you just say, I'm going to go for it because it's
For
rare. The
sure.
doctor
It's
told me it
rare.
was rare.
Yeah.
And so after I had the angiogram, I ended up being one of those rarities with facial paralysis.
So for anybody who's watching, what is an angiogram? What is the process of an angiogram?
Well, with the angiogram, what they do is they actually went in um, by my thigh and they use a long tube with a camera. And you're thinking
Hmm.
they're going, where my groin is, all the way up to my
Right.
brain. Now they do
Ooh.
angiograms for cardio too, but this was for my
Okay.
brain. And so they go up with the camera and whatever tools they need when they embolize the blood vessels and they look at everything to see what's going on. So what this doctor
Mm.
did was, and I'm saying this live, he botched it.
Sounds like it.
He literally botched it because when he came in the next day, well, there was another doctor that came in previous before him who knew who he was. And when he saw my
Hmm.
face, he was very upset.
Right.
So he
He realized
immediately
that there
got,
was something.
yeah. So he got on his phone, and then within 30 minutes, the doctor who did the angiogram came in looking sad.
Oh no. So okay, we can get to that because I mean, when it comes to things like that, where we feel that there's some kind of um what you call it, just not good work, right? Malpractice or whatever you want to call it. It's a touchy one, all right? And we know that when people tell us of when they warn us of the possibilities, we just like you said, it's rare, right? And we don't know. Um, so you said something about a Tra train what is it? Oh my
Craniotomy.
goodness. Yeah, a craniotomy. Like, what was that all about with that?
So after they did the angiogram, they realized that it wasn't a aneurysm. It was a lesion that needed to be
Mm,
removed.
right.
And so that would warrant brain surgery, which is a craniotomy.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
Mhm.
it turned out that it wasn't that, and it was just something that had to be removed, which would require that. Okay, so it caused facial paralysis for you, and you decided to come on Instagram Live, which was very brave of you because most times people would just like heal in silence and just tell people I'm taking a break to handle some health issues. But I was just so proud of you that you chose to come on live and show people your journey, and it's very inspiring because you shaved your head and you showed that, and I mean that must have been so hard for you to do, right?
Well, actually, the hair thing, Maxine, was not a big deal for me because
Oh yes,
if
okay.
you look at me, I wear wigs all the time. But previous to that, I wore my hair short.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah,
that wasn't a big deal. But one of the things that I had issue with, and I'm not going to be cry here, is my faith. And
yeah.
before I did all of this, I had had talks with God about sharing with my followers the importance of, and that it's okay to talk about God and be fashionable.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's definitely okay to talk about God and be fashionable. We can't even deny it. And whether you're fashionable or you're into fitness or whatever it is that you're doing, whatever whether you're doing it on Instagram or anywhere, it's okay to talk about God because He is the reason why we wake up every morning. He is the reason for everything that happens to us, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, it's totally okay. And I know that you were doing some lives with some other ladies who were, and the theme was women in faith and fashion, right? And how we stay uplifted and encourage each other, and just even your community of ladies who you have in your circle who are into the fashion and into God, right? So I think that more than anything else, we need that. We need to go back to that. A lot of people have lost the connection. Some people who have they've lost it because somehow life gets busy or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't. It shouldn't take um, a tragedy or something that's devastating that happens to us for us to realize that, right? We need to do that every day, right? It
Exactly. And before all of
every
this
day.
happened, I had scheduled it. And I talked to one
Yes.
of my best friends. Actually, I have two like my top besties. I have a lot of great friends. But, I had told her after this happened, I'm like, I have this thing scheduled and then this goes down,
This goes
but it's not going to stop me.
good for you. So, um, you so I knew what happened while you went to the doctor. So you talked about after this happened that there were a few things or there were people in your life that you may have had a resentment towards, but now it doesn't even matter to you. And I've heard people say this before when they've come to a turning point in their lives. So tell me what have you done with that? Like, have you gone to them and said anything, or you just made
Oh
peace with
yeah.
yourself?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And they were family.
Mm,
My girlfriends are like my blood. They're like my sisters.
mm,
But when after the angiogram and the facial paralysis, I knew I still needed to have brain surgery. And brain surgery, heart surgery,
right.
they're serious. Um, and so I just look within myself and I'm like, I'm not carrying resentment toward anybody. Why? For what?
Right. For what? For what? This is more important right now. So
Because
you
when
had brain,
certain
yeah.
things happen in your life, it just makes you
Hmm.
realize,
Makes
mm-mm.
you realize. So after the angio, I don't know what that word is. The paralysis. You had brain surgery, and during the brain surgery is when you had the stroke. Is that?
No,
Oh, okay.
angiogram.
You had the stroke,
It
but the
was
brain
after
surgery.
after the angiogram. So
Okay.
I had the angiogram. Um, the doctor called my husband and told him that it went good. And so the doctor came and he talked to me. I'm like, Doc, my face feels numb. And he's like, oh, whatever. So I go back to my room and I'm on the phone FaceTiming with my besties, right? We're on the phone FaceTiming and we're doing, we're talking about stuff our kids would talk about, how you do those kind
Yeah.
of lips. And at that time, mine was perfect, but my smile's a little bit off. And maybe a couple hours after that, I was talking to the nurses and I'm like, I can't smile.
Hmm.
And then it was a whole episode. It was crazy.
So, so once you told them you can't smile, then things start to happen where your face started to get more paralyzed.
Yeah. And they were
Hmm.
like, if you watch anything on a hospital show when nurses are running around trying to take care of
Mm-hmm.
you, make sure that it doesn't end up being a full blown stroke or something worse.
Right. Or something worse.
It
So you
was
must have been in
crazy.
a panic when you saw,
Yeah.
because you were awake and looking at them and wondering what's happening, what's happening. It's serious.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this is when they called the doctor and he prescribed a medication. Now, I was supposed to have brain surgery 2 days after the angiogram. This doctor prescribed a medication. He gave me double of what he should have.
Wow. Wow. That is crazy. And you're supposed to have surgery 2 days later.
Yeah.
That could have been catastrophic. That
Yes. Yes.
wow.
Yes.
So so then did you take it, or like what did they say
Well,
when
they gave it to me because they're nurses and he's the doctor. So the next day
hmm
when that other doctor came in,
it was
they
like
gave
what
this
is
girl
this?
this medication. And so when the neurosurgeon came in, the brain surgeon came in, because I thought I was going to have surgery and they kept putting it off. And I'm like, well, because sometimes people have brain tumors that are benign that they have in their head for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, can I not have surgery? She's like, you need it.
Oh.
You have to have it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and so I had to come back. So it was absolutely nuts. And this is
Mm-hmm.
when the neurosurgeon told me that the doctor who did the angiogram gave me too much medication, which
Mm-hmm.
was a blood thinner, and they couldn't
Right.
do brain surgery on me.
No, you can. Obviously, that's what I was going to ask you. Like if you had been taking those medications, then did you actually have the surgery on the specific date that you were supposed to? I guess not, because you couldn't.
They couldn't. They had to
Hmm.
wait for it to flush out of my system. All the
Absolutely.
while, I'm in a situation where I need the surgery quickly.
Quickly, for sure. This is a timing thing. This is a matter
Hmm.
of time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that's crazy. And this is where, when it comes to the drugs that the doctors are giving us, it causes more damage than it actually is supposed to help. And that's a whole other topic right there, because I'm the type of person, you give me a pill and I won't take it. I'm stubborn that way, but I just don't enjoy it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Can we go back to you saying that you've released all resentment? Did you, was it, you said it was mostly family members. Like, was it something that you kind of called everybody up and said, you know what, I want to forgive you, or,
I
and
actually
were they
sent
receptive?
text. It wasn't a lot of people.
Okay, yeah. You
Um,
just sent some text
I
messages
just sent
saying,
text and I just let them know how much I love them and that
mm,
no matter, they knew.
yes, yes,
I
they know.
mean, they knew, and I just told them I don't have any resentment, that I love you no matter what.
Right, right.
And I believe that one of them, took it in fully, and she, whatever's going on, I love her. But the other one, I think she loves me, but she still feels some kind of way.
Right. But the
And
most
I'm okay
important
with
thing
that.
is
I'm okay with that.
absolutely, because they say forgiveness is actually like freeing yourself of the burden or the, the troubles you're carrying with you, all
Mhm.
the issues that you have with these people or this person. You're the one that's carrying it. So forgiveness, it sets you free. So the most important thing is how you feel, right? Because right now you don't need that extra burden on your head
Mm-mm.
at
Mm-mm.
all, right?
Mm-mm.
You've got more important things to take care of. So yeah, forgiveness. I can see somebody walking in the background. Yeah, forgiveness. He can join.
That's my hubby.
Yeah. So how was your like in terms of the response that you got from friends? I heard in your live you talked about your amazing friends and family support. It's overwhelming, right? Yeah, I know.
I have, and I've always
Yeah, we
I've
always
always
know.
had a great circle of friends. It's not a
Yeah.
lot of us, maybe
Hmm.
10 at the
Hmm.
most, but
The real ones come out, right?
oh my
The
God.
real ones come out, they say, right? You have your friends and they'll be there for you, but we're talking when they come out and they show up, right? That's
Hmm.
that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel
definitely,
really, really blessed. I'm a lucky girl.
absolutely, absolutely. So, okay, so I know that you have a lot of brands that send you things on your, like I said, you are an influencer on Instagram and you've got great style and fashion. I love the freshness about you. So you said that the brands are still reaching out to you and they're working with you. And so, like, was that something that you were concerned about that would change the dynamics because now you are in the situation?
Well, it's still something that I think about, because if anyone goes and they look at me before this, my smile was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's different. But
yeah.
but
And I took it for granted. Like, as most people would. You wake up one day and you have half a smile, you're like, and you're an influencer, and people are always talking about their smile. And I'm like, now I don't really
yeah,
have one.
right.
So, um, some of the brands I'm sure that they know, but I recently just did a campaign. I took my
Hmm.
first set of pictures like this, and they're
Thank
nice.
God. Listen, you are here. You are here, right? That's
Hmm.
brand or no brand.
Right,
You are here and you
right.
are a huge influence. And I think that if anything else, they should be reaching out to you because you're going to have a lot of people who are going to lean towards you for support, for strength, for like everything. Right. So, yeah, it'll keep coming. I think it will. Right. And, it's not about what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
Hmm.
So then, so do you, I believe that this might be a game changer for you, really.
You know what? I think so also, because if you are a woman of faith and you are a
Mm,
Christian, there's that battle, you know,
there's the battle.
between good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just fact. Um, and as some of my good friends said, girl, just keep it moving.
Just keep it moving. And I say this, and I'll tell you why, because I personally have had many things in my life that has come up against me. And when it's happening, I'm thinking that it's like the worst thing ever. I'm thinking the worst of it. And it's just the ugly gremlin voice that tells me that. And even though I am a woman of faith, and I also know about my blessings and not blocking them, and also know that when things are happening, God never gives me more than I can handle, even if it's the worst. It's what He knows I can handle. With this that's happened to you, and I say this could be a game changer, I'm not necessarily talking about the brands. I'm talking about where your path might lead you, right? it could lead you anywhere. You could be standing in front of a stage. You could be with Oprah, is what I'm trying to say.
And again, one of my really good friends,
Mm,
if she's listening,
right?
Dr. Kim,
Hopefully
she
yeah.
said, she said basically, not, she didn't give the names, but she's like, you just don't know where
Hmm.
God is leading you.
Oh, I feel like church here. You don't know where God is leading you, no matter what happens in your life, no matter what the circumstances are, as bad or as horrible or horrific it may seem. I think we need to remember that. What did you say? I'm going to steal that. We don't know where God is leading us.
We
We
don't
don't know where
know.
God is. Could
We
somebody
don't.
just put it up on the board? Just put it out so the producers could just run it across,
Yeah.
because we don't know. Because when times of devastation or sadness or whatever the case may be, we think we become helpless and we become so into our own space of fear and not knowing. So definitely, this, like I said, this could be a game changer for you because um, you're here, you're talking about it, you're sharing. You don't know where God will lead you. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
guys. People are still encouraged by you. I saw your story and immediately I was like, I gotta talk to you because I know people who are in your situation right now or had somebody in their life who's impacted in some way or the other that's changed the dynamics of their lives.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be able to encourage them, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you come across something like this, that you know that you got to keep going. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to
Mhm.
um, get to, is that showing somebody like yourself, talking to somebody like yourself who can inspire other people to just keep going, because you could have stopped. You could have said, I'm going to take a
I
break.
I definitely thought about that, and just the way that things
Yeah.
were going, even in the whole influencer world, you
World,
know,
absolutely.
before any of this happened, I was like, because I work a regular, a day job,
Hmm.
um, and I was like, this is too much for me. So I hired someone. I hired a marketing manager, and then all of this happens, you know, because I was trying to make sure that I had time to do everything in my
Hmm.
life. But even my marketing manager is amazing, woman of faith. Just the way things that are happening. It's the Lord. It's the Lord.
What is your daily routine now? Has that changed a lot?
Oh, it has. Since
Yeah.
I've had this, I've never been a napper. I'm not that person
Mm.
that takes naps, but now I take naps when I need to. As the days progress, I get better and better. I feel better. But after I had the angiogram and I was going home because they sent me home for 2 days and I had to go back, I thought I was going to get
Hmm.
up out of that bed and be my
Mm.
regular. I could not. They put a bandage on. They put a tag on me that said risk of falling.
Oh,
And when I
right.
got up, I could not. I didn't have a straight gait,
Mm.
and it that bothered me.
Yeah.
But within a few days, I got home. My husband helped me walk. The second day, I walked with a wide gait, but I was walking. And so now,
Yeah.
what I do every day, as the days progress, I take my walks. I walk,
Hmm.
try to walk every day. Yesterday, I overdid it though, because at night I had a headache. I was like, "Oh no, slow it down,"
Yes.
because I'm always doing the regular
You,
old
yeah.
doing too much.
Yeah. You're not stopping, and don't stop. Do what you can, and nap when you want to nap.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different thing for you now when you wake up each day. The things that you were doing before, it just changed because
Everything,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not playing. There was a
Mm.
nurse that came to me, and the stroke that I had was not because the stroke was because of the being botched.
Right.
It was because of that. But there was a nurse that came in, and she bent down over me and she looked me in my face and she said, "You better take care of yourself."
Mm. Definitely.
And when she
Definitely take
said
care of
that,
yourself.
I started to bawl.
Because it is your responsibility. You know that, right?
And I
Nobody
said,
can take care of yourself.
I've always been that woman.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of everybody else,
Mm-hmm. No.
and I take care of me last.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds like me. And I'm probably some other women watching the show right
Yeah.
now.
And then just
Yeah.
something my mother would always tell me, because my mother was that
Yeah.
woman.
Hmm.
Even about
We
stress, my
follow.
mother would say, "Stress will kill you."
We follow in our mom's footsteps, don't we? Yeah. Um, Julie, I want to ask you, what do you want to tell women of faith, of fashion? What do you want to tell them?
That it's okay to come across as the person they are on the inside. If
Yes.
you're a woman of faith and you feel like you want to dress and be fabulous, do it.
Do it.
If you're a woman over 40 and you're concerned about what society thinks or dubs us as being outdated or not this or not that, forget all of that,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna always be fashionable.
Oh, hey, hey.
Always. Always. And I just think people should just disregard what
Live
other
there.
people are saying. And I found as I got older, I cared less about what other people thought. You can say what you want to say about my shoes being too colorful, or why do I have that on, or why do I
Mm-hmm.
come dressed up to something casual, because that's who I am. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
continue to be me. I'm not hurting you. I'm positive. I'm nice. I'm giving. I'm going to be me.
When I interviewed Michelle, we both know Michelle Style by
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Her hashtag was Minokir. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's it. And I love that she said that Minokir. So Michelle, if you're watching, hey, I just gave you a little plug-in.
Understand.
um, yeah, um, yeah, I think that's great advice that you're giving because life is short. There's been a lot of people who have gone from this world and they probably didn't get to accomplish certain things. Maybe they were living in a certain fear of doing things or just like suppressing their talent and their ability to just inspire people,
Mhm.
and we have to just stop thinking about what others are going to say. And as long as you're not, as they say, as long as you're not, you know, doing some harm to somebody, I think you should just do it. And I love the
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree.
And yeah, because life is short. It is.
Mhm.
Um, so one last question I wanted to ask you was your the paralysis is not forever. It's gonna come back to normal eventually. Because I heard that you're reading in your no, I was watching your live and you talked about like you wanted it to like to speed up. You would think sometimes like it's improving but not fast enough
Mhm.
for you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, when this is all over and you're back to normal, you get your smile back, you get to wear your wigs and all that. What is going to be your approach on life?
Number one, I'll never forget
Mm,
what I've experienced.
yeah.
And I would just tell people to just don't take anything for granted.
Hmm.
Don't take anything for granted. You know, as you live through life, eventually something major may happen in your life, but you never
Yeah.
know what.
You don't know what it is. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be
So
anything.
me going in
Yeah.
that hospital that day, sitting on the edge of the seat waiting for that doctor to come and release me. And when they came and brought me admittance papers, my whole
Oh,
life
that,
changed.
yeah, for sure. And that's in a flash. You probably had plans that day to do things, and it could happen
Yeah.
to any one of us,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. So definitely you will enjoy, you'll look at life differently and appreciate. And um, I hope that you'll continue to just spread the lovely, fashionable you around all over Instagram, everywhere.
Aw.
And I encourage anyone who's watching the show to follow Julie's journey and follow her on Instagram. She's very authentic, and she's got hope, she's got faith, she believes, and she's trusting, and she's got great people around her. And I just think that you are a light and you're so inspiring. And I think that you will probably help a lot of people, a lot of people. So
Thanks so
keep
much,
doing what you're doing.
Maxine. I appreciate you.
Oh, you know what? Thank you. I mean, for like, this is my first time actually speaking with you, and I've been following you for a while, and we've just been
Hmm.
sort of liking and liking and liking each
Hmm.
other's posts, and not really, getting to know each other. And this is what it's all about. Like, I get to connect with people because normally I probably wouldn't have, right? So this show, which is um, produced by the Healthy Entrepreneur, I mean, sorry, not the Healthy Business Takeout, gives me an opportunity to do this, and I want to thank Business Takeout for just having this platform and
Thank
having
you.
me as a host. Yeah, and having me as a host, and then that led me to you. So Julie, thank you so much, and I'm going to ask for them. Yep, perfect. Your contact. Where can they contact you or reach out to you? You've got Stylish Paradox. I like that on
Yeah.
Instagram, and your website is stylishparadox.com.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this chat. Really inspired by you. Um, I pray that God continues to just show you that His mercy and His grace is always going to be there for you. You
Yes.
continue to just be
Yes.
inspiring. I love it. I love your
Thank you.
positivity.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for having me. Appreciate you so much, Maxine.
I appreciate you too for coming on. Thank you.
All righty.
So I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you, Business Takeout. And everybody, in the meantime, stay well and good night.
Good night.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com/donate.